Hey everyone, it is Canadagraphs here, and I just realized this is not... There we go. Will that stay? Perfect. Hi everyone, it is Canadagraphs here, and this is my semi-spoiler filled review of the Superman movie that is out right now. I went and saw it Thursday afternoon. I attempted to do this review yesterday on Friday and failed because my camera battery was not charged. Oops. So here it is, coming out early Saturday instead. Yeah. So I have notes here to the side, so if you keep seeing me look to the side, that's what I'm looking at. Because there was a lot that I kind of forgot my first time through, because I did like a warm-up version of it. I usually do that. I try to like go through the process, figure out what I'm gonna say, and then listen to it and be like, this needs that, that needs this, and I realized I was missing a bunch of things the first time. So I actually started writing notes for them, and then I even watched a couple of other people's reviews just to see if there was any other things I missed, because the first time I went through this, I had actually missed 8 points that I have on this list. So yeah, the second time, after I watched a couple of reviews, I did see one more thing in one of the reviews someone brought up that I'm like, oh yeah, that's something I would have talked about. So yeah, we're a minute and a half in, I haven't talked about it yet. So I'm going to go through negatives first, because that's a pretty short list. Then we're going to go over characters, and then scenes, themes, settings, etc. So the negatives. We'll start off with the end credit scenes have no value. And I don't know why. They have other projects that are coming up. They could have given something to that to give you some idea of something coming down the line, but they don't add any value. There are a couple of throwaway scenes, and yeah, they're a little fun to see. I don't even think they're that fun. I think they're kind of just like, oh, okay. But yeah, they're throwaway scenes. Like, the end credits are not needed to stick around for like most other superhero movies, and I kind of was a little unimpressed with that. Working through the list, I'll get, yeah, so I'm gonna, which order am I gonna do this in? Okay, so Superman in this entire movie, unless I'm mistaken, well, okay, there was the one scene where he eliminates all the attack things from Lex in the sky with his laser vision thing. Outside of that, I don't think there's another scene in the movie where he beats anybody single-handedly. There's a few where he maybe does the lion's share of work, but a lot of his wins come with somebody's assistance. And kind of a little weird. I realize Ultraman is an impressive villain. I realize Lex is a genius villain. But it is weird that we never, at one moment that I can recall in the movie, have Superman take down somebody on his own. It would have been nice maybe if we got the scene that they talk about where he went and stopped a war. It would have been nice maybe if we got that scene, see Superman actually being Superman. Maybe. The other annoying thing, and these two characters were different levels of annoying. The selfie girl, I guess Lex's girlfriend, I'm sure she has a character name. I don't think I ever caught it. Yeah, I can't say I ever caught her name. Let me look at the IMDb list real quick and see if I see her character name. It wasn't Eve Tessmacher, I don't think. Not Amanda McCoy. Okay, yeah, I don't know what her name was. The IMDb list is so mismatched, it is so out of order that you can't really rely on it to get an idea of who played which characters, unfortunately. But yeah, she was annoying. And I understand she is written to be the ditzy bimbo type. I'm not confused in understanding that. But she was too much screen time for such an annoying character. She did her job, like the actress played it very well, because I was annoyed by her, and that was her purpose. Her purpose was to make people annoyed by her. She did a great job at her role. Unfortunately, from the value of the movie, it brings the movie down. That said, it's still not as bad as the other character who literally had 20 seconds of screen time and was just awful. And that is Supergirl. They bring her in as like a drunk tire fire of a mess. Like your common garden variety party girl. And I don't think that's not an image I had of that character. And I'll say this. You know, we'll see when a trailer finally comes out from that movie. But as of right now, based off 20 seconds of screen time, I'll never watch that. That character was insufferable on a level that can't be, like, she's Jessica Jones level bad. Like, I don't know how someone would want to sit through 2 hours of that character. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe when we get the trailer, they'll change the tone of the character, because the character right now is awful. Just awful. No one's watching 2 hours of a ditzy, bratty party girl. I don't understand that choice. Sorry, James. I think you do a lot of great work. That's not a good choice. The other negative I kind of put on this list are more mediums, like not full negatives, but also they need to be addressed. One is, we see the Justice Gang, as they want to be called in this, but where is Batman, the Flash, Wonder Woman, etc.? And if you're like, well, they don't exist in this world, correction, they do. You know how we know? Because they showed up in Peacemaker, and Peacemaker is in this. So, yeah. We actually get a clip of Peacemaker talking on TV in this movie. And while he's on TV, all I could think of for about 2 seconds was, wait a minute, we see the Justice League at the end of his show. Why aren't any of them here dealing with this worldly problem? Yeah. The other one is Clark and Lois, as a couple, are kind of eh. I don't hate them. I think they had great individual romantic moments, like the lifting her up, the kiss her, you know, and a couple of things like that. Great individual moments, but I never got the spark of like, wow, Lois is so in love with this guy, she's willing to like risk death to save him. I never got the impression that Clark is so in love with her that he's willing to like sit around and like debate stuff with her, you know, have a conversation about their relationship and all that stuff while there's a glowing imp out in the sky being fought by the Justice Gang. I don't buy those. I don't buy it. Kind of weird. I think both characters individually great, and I do think there's potential, but kind of didn't get the vibe. Now let's get on to actual characters, and I realize I'm already 8 minutes in, so I'm going to try and speed run some of this. Clark and Superman, not a lot to mention there. They're phenomenal. David Corenswet carries the role very well. You know, if we're being brutally honest, obviously not my favorite Superman yet, but I don't hate him. I think he did very well, but we've only had one movie of interaction with him. It's going to take a while for that version of him to cement itself with people. You know, Tyler Hoechlin had 4 seasons as Superman. Brandon Routh had multiple movies. Henry Cavill, multiple movies. Christopher Reeves. Like, everybody has always had a library of work to decide whether you like them or not. We only have one for David right now, so you got to give David time to show more stuff. But he did very well in the first shot we've had of him. Lois, Rachel Brosnahan does a really good job with this, and I can believe she's Lois. Her discussion, which I'll get into in the scenes section, in the interview scene, I think that's a Lois Lane style scene, and she did a terrific job at it. And why is my screen gone black? So yeah, I have no problem with the way that role was carried by her. Lex Luthor, played by Nicholas Hoult, I think was really good. I can believe he's Lex Luthor. He is mean, he's heartless, he only thinks about himself, and his desire to win supersedes everything else. And yeah, I could believe this is Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is willing to watch the world burn so that he can get the upper hand on Superman. And Lex in this movie did that. A character, technically, Crypto, the dog. That character is a tire fire of energy. If I had a dog like that, man, I'd be exhausted. But he was fun. It is definitely a character that I think people are going to want to see in more iterations. And he had a couple of great scenes that we will get to later in the scene discussion. But yeah, another great job. Mr. Terrific was possibly the breakout character of this this movie. Unless you're watching Arrow in the past, you probably don't know who Mr. Terrific as a character was. They didn't quite like show everything that his character is about. I don't think they mentioned like why he's so super smart and all that stuff, but they give the impression he's super smart. They give the impression he's skilled with this and that, and he has a great fight scene at the villain base that really helps, and he's very instrumental in the back half of the movie, which when you think of like the main three characters, which we'll get to the other two in a second from the Justice Gang, you kind of would have thought he'd be the afterthought of the three, but he wasn't. He more or less was the main one of the three that you see on screen. Ma and Pa Kent from Earth. Wonderful job. I like the little scene that they have where they're talking on the phone. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have had that experience with their own family members. Now, I haven't. I don't really have any anymore since, that got to that age. So, but I've seen lots of other people that have dealt with their elderly parents, and yeah, it was fun. And when Pa's talking to him on the porch, amazing scene. Yeah. Ma and Pa and Krypton. I kind of thought about maybe putting this in the negatives, but I knew I was going to be talking about them in the character section. I don't like the fact that they made them villainous in the end. I don't know if any other... I mean, none of the ones I can remember watching ever had them in a villainous capacity before. Because they send a message, and in their message, Clark only ever knows the first half of the message because the second half got corrupted in his travels. And in the first half, they sound very supportive, very loving, and very much want him to like help people of Earth. But the back half of their message is quite the opposite, and I think really, I mean, to me it kind of betrays those characters. I'm sure someone in the comments is going to be like, well, actually, in volume 6 of this run of the Superman thing, his parents were terrible people. Like, I'm sure someone's going to, like, bring that up. But they kind of sound like terrible people, right? We'll get into that maybe in the scene breakdown. I don't know if I talk about it in the scene breakdown. You know what? No, I don't see it in my scene breakdown, so we'll talk about it now. In their message, they basically want Clark to come to Earth and dominate Earth and create a harem of women to continue the Krypton brand. I don't know why I said brand. You know what I mean. Race. Yeah. So, not the best parents, maybe. The robots that Clark has at the Fortress of Solitude are really good. They're fun. I like the fact that he gives one a name at the end, Gary. Just, they're nice. Get into the other Justice Gang members. We have Guy Gardner, which I like Nathan Fillion in most things, and he was okay in this, but he just was teetering on the edge of a little exhausting. Not like he didn't get there, but I could see if he was the primary character of a movie, I might be annoyed by that movie. I think he is great in the 3 to 5 minute range of screen time character. And I think that's about all I really want of that. I enjoyed Hawkgirl a lot more in this than I did in Legends of Tomorrow, I will tell you that. I'm sorry I have not been keeping up with who played these characters. Mr. Terrific was EDI GATHEGI. The robots even had people voicing them. They had Michael Rooker, POM KLEMENTIEFF, Grace Chan, and Alan Tudyk. I did say Nathan Fillion already. Ma and Pa Kent. Oh my god, I don't know where I find their names on this list. This list on IMDb is a tire fire. NEVA, Howell, and PRUITT Taylor Vince. And then Hawkgirl is obviously Isabella Merced. And yeah, so I'm caught up on keeping up with that part, which SKYLER GISONDO as Jimmy Olsen, pretty good. It's kind of funny that he seems to be a bit of a ladies' man. Like, he's got the ditzy blonde from Lex's camp fawning over him, and then there's a couple of girls at the office that were eyeing him too. Like, I don't know, I never got Jimmy Olsen as the type that girls were fawning over, but that seemed to be the case. Yeah, that was a little random. Just out of the blue, my camera stopped recording 16 minutes in. So, Jimmy Olsen, played by SKYLER GISONDO, really good. I was a little weirded out by the fact they're having him be kind of a ladies' man. The bimbo from Lex's headquarters seemed to have a thing for him, like an obsessive thing for him. And then you had a couple of the girls at the Daily Planet also were kind of eyeing him over pretty much. Kind of weird. I don't think of Jimmy Olsen as being that type of guy, but okay, I can go with it. There's a character, I don't remember his name. I just have him down on my sheet as Kryptonite Guy. He was this character that was in the cage with Clark with Superman to keep him weak when Lex is holding him. Nice character. I like the fact that at the end he gets added to the Justice Gang, because they need a couple more people in there, and you know, we'll see what he adds in future productions. Ultraman was basic. You know, he was Superman with Lex Luthor's strategy literally spoken into his ear or typed into his ear. I don't know how that worked. We'll get into that in the scene breakdown. The engineer was okay. Nothing special or bad about her, just kind of there. And yeah, I mean, outside of them, who else was there? There was Rick Flag Jr. Yeah, he was there. They are correct. Rick Flag Jr. is in this movie. Peacemaker, yeah. We already talked about Peacemaker a bit. Honestly, I think I've gone over the majority of the characters. I don't remember Eve Tessmacher in the scene, but maybe she was there. Cheryl Kimball. Who was Cheryl Kimball in the movie? So there are a couple of characters I am seemingly forgetting. Amanda McCoy. Now, she should have been at Lex's side. Who was she? Again, I can't put one and one together on these like secondary, third tier characters. No offense to them, no offense to whoever played their parts, but they just didn't stick with me enough to really remember them in a first watch. Oh, Perry White. Yes, of course. Wendell Pierce is Perry White. Yep. He's in it too. Yeah, so I think I've gone over the primary and even secondary characters. Now we get into scenes. So I'm going to start off, I just wrote them down in a random order, so they don't go in any special order as per the movie. The pocket dimension was really interesting. I liked how they created the pocket dimension. I liked that we got a explanation from Mr. Terrific how dangerous this is, and how even the slightest little about it, and it would destroy the world. And I liked how they had like this, can't remember what it was called. It wasn't like quite antimatter, but it's something along the lines of antimatter, like a river flowing underneath. So like if you hit that, you should be toast. Like there was all sorts of things, and I liked them showing Lex's, Lex has like a prison in there. I wish they'd showed more characters, and I wish we'd gotten some backstory on a couple of the characters, but we don't. We get to see some blogger that made a bad story about Lex, and we get to see another guy on the other side, and then we get to see Kryptonite guy, and Kryptonite's baby, and Clark, and that's about all we find out about it. But it was cool. We have a scene where Krypto throws Lex around like a rag doll. It was funny, like it makes you laugh a little bit, but I think it went on a little too long. I think like 1 or 2 throws would have been funny, but he threw him around like 5 or 6 times, and I'm kind of just like, yeah, okay, we get it. Krypto's strong, Krypto's uncontrollable, cool. Okay, so this goes back to the Ma and Pa Kryptonite, Krypton thing. When Lex posts the scene where he has the message from his Kryptonite parents and the world gets to see it. Remember, everybody's seeing it all at the same time. First reaction. People were turning on Superman before the scene played. Before the scene played. Before. In fact, when they get to the end of the first part, the part that Clark knows, he even turns around and goes to everyone like, what's so bad about that? And everyone's like, keep watching. Like, how do they know? This was the first viewing. It was on every screen all at the same time. This was a world premiere. How did they know this was terrible? And then, on top of that, after it happens, why is everybody taking Lex's word like that? We live in a world where people will question things they see with their own eyes. We see people all the time. They will literally see a thing happen in front of their face with their own eyes, with no screen in front of them, and they'll be like, I don't know, could have been something else, all of the time, let alone something that is on a media platform that has come from somebody else, that has not been fact-checked yet, and 100% of the people bought it 100% right away, no questions asked. What world is this? I don't live in that world, that's for sure. I should have had that in the negative section the more I've thought about it, but I put it down in the scenes section at the time, and it's just stupid. I can understand the majority of people turning on him. I can understand a majority. I cannot understand 100% of the people turning on him immediately as soon as they see it. Right there. No, that would not happen in the real world. Oh, there's a scene where Superman saves a squirrel, and I thought that was a really good, accurate depiction of Superman. He will save whatever he can, however he can. Whether it be a squirrel, I mean, if he could see an ant in trouble, he'd probably try and save an ant. He just cares everywhere, not just about the human race. Of course, we've got to talk about the interview between Lois and Clark. Lois went in hard on Clark because Clark had been interviewing himself, and she's like, you haven't really faced a real interview, so Clark lets her interview him as Superman. So she goes hard on him, and she asks him some real serious, hard-hitting questions that a good journalist would ask, and Clark got a lot defensive about it. And I think it's fair to show Clark be frustrated. I don't have a problem with the way they played it. I don't have a problem with them showing Clark getting frustrated with someone that's essentially his girlfriend asking quality questions. Because she should be asking questions as a professional journalist that are going to get to your interviewee and make them maybe, show a different side under pressure. She did a great job as an interviewer. Clark, I think, was fine. He got frustrated, but and he did storm out technically at the end, but it is what it is. I think it was a great scene. I think whoever wrote that scene from both sides had some media training. That wasn't some guy in the writer's room. That was someone who had some media training that sat down with a writer and was like, this is how I think this would play out. Well done. Okay, we got to go back to the start of the movie now. Superman losing right at the start. The first introduction we have to the new Superman is him just getting his ass kicked. And we get a countdown. We get like, I don't remember all the time frames, like 3 million years, 300 years, 3 years, 3 months, 3 days, 3 hours. It was something like that, but each time it had a new breakdown of what had happened in that timeline. Telling you that, you know, there's metahumans, that this had happened, all that, all the way down to like 3 minutes ago, I think it was. He loses his first fight, it says. And all we see is, that's the scene you see in the trailer where he crashes into the snow and has to call Krypto to come and save him. Interesting way to start your character that's supposed to be Superman. I don't know. Him losing his first time on screen is a choice. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Okay, and the last thing I really have on, well, I have two last things on here. One is Lex being a tactical genius using Ultraman's strength. So he had developed Ultraman off a strand of hair he found from Superman. So he has all of Superman's skills, but he's not very smart, which is where Lex comes in, because Lex is a genius. And Lex had literally created a playbook like he's in the NFL for fighting against Superman. Now Lex is smart enough to fight against Superman, but he doesn't have the strength and the skill to fight against Superman. But he now has that in Ultraman. So he has put in something into Ultraman. I don't know how it worked. I don't know if it goes into his brain or in his ear or how it works, but he was sitting in a room like a strategist, yelling out orders to people on a pile of laptops. Oh, there's another scene I gotta talk about. On a screen full of laptops, and they're typing in commands to Ultraman to hit this way or shove that way or throw this way into Superman, and it was working. Superman's getting his ass kicked by this team up of Ultraman through Lex's commands. Really well done, and I like the way they explain almost all of it all the way through. You know, we find out how Lex made an Ultraman. Lex's genius just, you know, on display in those scenes. Very well played. I really loved that work. And that does lead up to two scenes now that I almost forgot about. One is the scene where we see Krypto. Krypto is an unhinged character. There's twice where he gets out of control. One of them was on command, the other one not so much. So there's one scene where he attacks Mr. Terrific's T-Spears, and Mr. Terrific's like, "There's, bro, man, like, these things are hard to make. Like, calm your dog down." But then there's another one where we get to see Krypto do it for good, when Lex has all these cameras around watching the Ultraman fight so that he can strategize what to make his next call. And all these cameras are giving him angles that he is soaking up and taking in and deciding, okay, next move is A14 or B8. Like, he's strategizing those based off of all these things he's seeing from the camera movements. Clark realizes this, tells Krypto to go play with the toys, talking about these cameras, and Krypto starts flying around and destroying all of Lex's cameras, and you see Lex just losing control in the command room. He can't get anything to work right. I love that scene. That was fun as hell. The other thing I was going to talk about was the room where we see literally social media in living form, where Lex has a room of monkeys typing on computers, spurning out hate comments about Superman on the internet with hashtags and everything. Like, if that's not the most real thing there is right now, you know, just think of all the Russia farm bots that are out there these days. Like, this was 101% a shot at everything going on in the real world, unfortunately. And And then the last thing I'm going to touch on is the battle between two countries. And I have to look up those country names again. Oh, actually, I wrote them down. I did write them down. Boravia and Jarhanpur. Again, I wish we got to see the start when we see Clark save Jarhanpur the first time. I would have really liked that scene. And I'm just a little disappointed we don't get to see Clark show up at Jarhanpur after it's been saved the second time when the Justice Gang comes and helps save it. I would have liked like one more time where he comes by and you get the like appreciation of him there. But it was an interesting distraction in the middle of the movie to throw us into this political fight that didn't necessarily lead anywhere. I don't know if there was something I missed. I mean, I went to the bathroom for like 90 seconds at one point. I might have missed a piece in there that explains why this was happening, but I never quite got that. But yeah, so that's everything that I have written down. I am sure I'm missing something. I'm sure someone in the comments is going to be like, I can't believe you didn't talk about the thing. But anyways, yeah, I love the movie. My original score right out of the theater was a 9. After thinking about it at a time and doing my breakdown and writing everything out, you know, and even here in this video changing my mind a little bit on a couple of things, I'd probably put it more at about an 8.4. Still very, very, very good. And that is it. And this has taken over 30 minutes. I'm sorry you've had to watch my face this long. But I appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed the movie too. If you haven't seen it yet, why were you watching this? Alright, have a good one. Thanks. Goodbye.